Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Team Dinner. My name is Jack Maloney, and my guest today is Shawn Moran. Shawn, thank you for being here. And we are eating Gufo from Cambridge Street in Cambridge.
It smells great.
Pizza, pasta, and some apps.
Arancinis.
There we go. Cool. All right.
What do we got? Let's go.
So, Shawn, I'm going to start you off with a question.
Yeah, of course.
That I have been asking people recently because we are now, call it 4 months into the year.
Nice. Yeah, I know, right?
Do you have a favorite meal of 2025?
Of 2025?
Something more recent
Right.
that has stuck in your brain.
Let's see. I was at Davio's recently. That's really good, but let's keep thinking. There's a new place in Back Bay called El Baco. They got some good tacos in there, pretty good. Perico is one of my favorites always, but like that's not just a 2025 thing. I'm gonna say Davio's was pretty good recently.
All right.
Yeah. Got this. It's a steakhouse, but I don't always get steak. But I got this chicken there, and it was on a bed of mashed potatoes, which you can't beat. That's like,
Yeah.
I love that. So
Full chicken?
it was like the thigh and the breast or something connected
yeah.
or something like that. But it was really good. Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Shout out Davio's,
Davio's.
2025.
Yeah, they get a lot. Oh, we have a big party coming up at Davio's soon.
Yeah?
Big 40th anniversary party at Davio's. That'll be a cool one. Yeah, I'm excited for that. So
Cool.
yeah,
All right. 40th anniversary.
yeah, they're getting old, but
Jeez.
people know
Davio's is older than me.
them. Older than all of us.
Who would have thought?
Thank God.
Cool. All right. Great answer.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let's, if we can, take a step back.
Okay.
And then I'll let you answer, and then we can eat a little bit. I'll eat while you answer.
All right.
I'd love to kind of start with like how you got started. From my understanding, it started with photography, right?
Right.
Started with a camera, and then that turned to video, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that was an interesting. I think it's always an interesting story when someone turns the camera around on themselves, right?
Yeah, it gets a little weird sometimes.
So yeah, I'd love to kind of hear how we got here and yeah, what that process has been like for you.
Right. So like when I was a kid, I always liked like those disposable cameras and stuff, and I love them now too. They're so much fun. But it never really followed me through childhood or anything until I went to college at UMass Boston, and I continued to like photography, taking pictures. I just didn't take it seriously until then. So, living in the city, going to school at a campus that's right on the ocean, beautiful campus, having access to the city whenever I wanted, it was just one of those like light bulb moments.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, like we're so close to the city. Let's go take pictures. Let's walk around, and that's always been my favorite thing to do, just walk aimlessly. So. I got like a cheap point and shoot camera at that point, nothing like super fancy, and then just started taking pictures and posting it. And if you go back far enough on my Instagram, you'll see just Shawn Moran from 10 years ago doing that stuff. So you'll actually see Shawn in high school back then, but don't go that far. But yeah, so it started with that, and then I sort of got a nicer camera, and then a nicer camera, and so photography was the thing.
Yeah.
That was the niche back then, and then COVID came, and then somehow all the algorithms changed, and we became video-centric, right? And I played with photography mixed with videos for a while, like using the videos to showcase the photography, but I just felt, I wouldn't say I fell out of love with it, but it just became something, like it just became more of a hobby where video sort of grows faster. There was so much more to do with it, and I still love photography. But it just became one of those things where we put it on the back burner for now, and now we start meeting more people in the city. We start doing, dinners in places and just doing more fun things like that. So yeah, it sort of transitioned during COVID. And I guess video kind of sells better. So, but there's just so much you can do with photography and videos, especially in the city. And so yeah, that's how we ended up here, and we're on a TV show now.
Yeah,
I don't know when that came out because of the videos, but
that was where I was going with this. Was that so how was so now? I mean, you're on your social media, your Instagram is big.
Right.
You're on Nesson, so it's like you've kind of gone from the point and shoot to then shooting yourself, and now there's a crew shooting you, right? So you've come.
It's not a crew. So the show's called Let's Meet Boston.
Yeah.
It's basically content creators who emulate what we do on social onto the big screen. So the whole point is to make it look like a social media page on TV on Saturdays at 9:30 on Nesson. So we take our phones, a whole show, which is amazing.
Oh, I did not
You can
realize
literally shoot
that.
on your iPhone, and it's good enough to go on TV. So yeah, so it's way better that way for me. I don't need a whole crew following me, and I think it makes the experience more real for
Yeah.
business owners and stuff. You know, you tell them you're coming in to take video for a TV show, and they're like, "Oh shit! Like we have a whole crew. This is kind of scary." And then you start talking to them, and they're like, "Oh, it's just you and one or two of my friends to help me out, and we just take videos and have fun." And it's just a longer version of Instagram on TV. So and we have to shoot horizontally, which is a pain, but it's okay. It works. So
that's so funny. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's I love being part of the show. Billy and Jenny are awesome. The producers are amazing. Nessun is such a cool platform to be on. And even better, I've gotten to meet so many amazing people, whether it's the influencers or Billy and Jenny, the producers, but also business owners, people I would have never met before. The small business owners who just need a boost, and especially these days. And to come in and offer them a free TV spot with basically unlimited social media engagement, because who knows, right? Where that's going to go. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and we can talk about it later, but I was, at a place yesterday, and the guy is just so grateful that you're there for that, and it's just a cool thing.
Yeah. What was the place?
The place is called Lily's Gourmet Pasta Express.
Okay.
And it's in Mission Hill. And the producers assigned it to me.
Cool.
Or else I would never have known about it, because I don't really go that far, like to go down that way. But yeah, super cool place, fresh pasta. Like they make it in-house, everything's super fresh. Jose is the general manager over there, super proud. He's an immigrant, and he busts his ass, and he just loves what he does, and it's such an amazing spot. It's a takeout place, so they have a couple seats. So don't expect, fine dining establishment, but expect the food to be definitely fine dining, because it is so good.
I love that, and I love the part that you mentioned there about small businesses, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Not to trash anyone, but a lot of influencers, almost everyone I know is great. A lot of influencers, I don't want to say they're in it for themselves, but a lot of influencers I feel forget that they have a platform and that you should be helping people with it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be taken advantage of. You should be making money when you can. But there's also some times where there's just a struggling business down the street that is pretty cool. They just don't have exposure.
Yeah.
Why not just make a 30-second video for them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Help them out. They're going to give you some free food, free whatever.
Yeah.
If it's activity, you're going to get in for free, obviously. So just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I love that. I that this show's purpose is largely tied to that as well, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Well, that's what it is, yeah.
is because I think for the way I see it, and this is something I've been becoming like increasingly passionate about, is like, all right, so we all work hard for our money, right?
Right.
No one I've had in this show is rich by any means.
Right.
Maybe rich with life experiences, but
Too many.
but so it's like you work hard for that money. It's like I want to have I want to control where that dollar goes.
Right.
And so it's like if you buy everything at Amazon and Target, that dollar is gonna go
Right.
to San Francisco or Seattle or wherever those companies are based,
Jeff
Minnesota.
Jeff and his rocket
Yeah,
ship.
right. And it's like, not that those places, you should ignore them. I think there's value there for the consumer, but like being super mindful, like, when you go to, McDonald's or Chipotle, like that,
Right.
a lot of your dollar is going somewhere really far away,
Right.
and it's going in the pocket of an executive or shareholder or whatever.
Right.
Whereas like when you shop at the pizza place in your town,
Right.
all of that dollar is staying here, right?
Exactly.
And that to me is really important. And so I appreciate that you responded to that, and that you're sort of cultivating that.
Trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that in people's faces. And
Yeah.
whether it doesn't matter if it's a big restaurant owned by a group with a big financial backing, because even then your waitress still needs her tips.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if there's nobody coming in the door, they're going to eventually close. She's
Yep.
not getting tips anymore.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's big or small. I love helping small spots, but it doesn't matter if it's big or small, because at the end of the day, it's going to the people who need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
that's just super important, especially restaurants. Profit margins are like nothing in restaurants. And shrinkflation, like we were talking about, tends to be really bad right now. And not everybody can afford to go out to eat. So it's hard for people to be making money at these places sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a spot that's not right downtown, or like somewhere that the eyes are on you all the time, or that's where I think people like us are important to show that to the world.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to do.
Yeah. I agree entirely. That's why one of my hobby horses here, whatever the expression is, that my soapbox I get on is making it easier for small restaurants in independent restaurants to get liquor licenses.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is
That
like
brings people in.
Yeah, because it's like even if it's just beer and wine, and
Right.
like it's so hard because it's the margin on food is bad.
Right.
For everybody,
Right.
for the biggest restaurant to the smallest
Right.
takeout, it's bad.
And it's very good for beer and wine.
Yeah, and it's it's the best for liquor, right? And so even if you know liquor is, they categorize that differently, but like I think that unlocks. I think it unlocks more people getting involved, because if you have to spend $500,000 on a liquor license, that cuts out almost anyone without significant financial backing, right?
Any non-group.
Right, and I think even if you're opening a sandwich place that closes at 5,
Right.
on the weekends, like if people could come in and have a glass of wine or a
their
beer,
sandwich.
like
Yeah.
I think like
Yeah,
it's not, it's, and you know, so I talk about that a lot here, and the two big things that people say are like, then there's just gonna be bars everywhere and everyone's gonna be drunk, and I don't think that that's the case, and I also think you could put stipulations in that like a lot of them have to cut off at 10 p.m. or something, right? Which would
2 per person.
Right, exactly. Which would stop that fear, right? And the other one is like, what about everyone who's got one already, who's spent? And it's like, I hear that, and I would feel bad, and I think there's a way for the government to, because this is the state that controls it, right? I think the state could compensate people, you know, in a fair way, but also like we can't allow people to hold everyone hostage,
Right.
And that's just, I do feel like that if that everyone's losing now, and if we can come up with a play for a few people to be,
It's like that with a lot of topics.
Everything,
free
right?
school, free
Yeah.
healthcare, stuff like that. You know, to help the next people. Why should the people in the past have to suffer?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just one of those things. Society doesn't progress unless everybody kind of takes a step forward and says, "All right, let's do this." But yeah, same thing with that. I mean, I get the argument with the liquor. You know, the too many bars, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be like that either.
No.
It has to be done the right way.
No.
You know, and you're not going to sit in a sandwich shop and get plastered for 10 hours.
No.
And eventually it's like, all right, you already had 2, let's go.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
right?
Yeah.
But like, and yeah, exactly. So let's say that there's a place that is treading water, like they are just staying afloat.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they can sell beer and wine. Like that's the difference between them making it and not making it sometimes, right?
Exactly.
And I do believe that. So that's my.
No, because you're right. And how many people going out for dinner and drinks?
Yeah.
You're not just going out to get a sandwich.
No.
Yeah, especially on like a weeknight. So if you have that opportunity to get a little tipsy at a sub shop and then go out for drinks after, why not? It's cheaper to get food there. You know what I mean? Than it is to go to a more expensive place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it starts at state level and
Yeah.
then it trickles down to the city level. But it's just so many politics into that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's groups that would be against it. And but
I've heard that there's a very strong lobby
there
keeping
is.
things the way that it is.
sure there is.
So people
God forbid we all excel.
people DM me saying you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And we all get those DMs.
Anyway, cool. Well, I think one other question I wanted to not start with, but touch on first is that it is, as of recording it to this today, it was about 70 degrees, perfect, beautiful day.
Yeah, I know, right?
The weather's changing.
Finally, I know.
We are emerging from our caves of winter, which lasted far too long.
Way too long this year.
I guess the question for you is like, what anything exciting for you that you're excited about for spring in Boston, and what's kind of something in the next couple months maybe that you're maybe starting to look forward to, or just like an activity that you can now do because it's not miserably cold.
I was talking to one of my friends the other day. I'm like, I feel like May is always such a crazy busy month because all these places, all these brands are having their events, their spring events. So you're super busy with that stuff, at least from a content creator perspective. But personally, I just love just walking around the city again when it's nice out, warm out, rooftops, patios. I'm such a big patio person. Love that. Especially in the North End when they had outdoor dining, and that's another story.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about people getting screwed.
Very true.
I won't talk about politics. Cut that from the West Coast feed. Yeah, but so big on patios. That's super looking forward to that. Patios, rooftops. There's so many more rooftops now than there used to be. We're getting there. We're becoming a world-class city. So that's a big thing. But just walking around, like I've always been a city, like just like walking.
Yeah.
And my friends don't always like it, but I'm like, let's go this way. They're like, that's the long way. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's great. But yeah, I love doing like the Esplanade at sunset, sitting there with sushi or something with a couple friends, just hanging out. that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, just back to summer vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shed the hibernation and let's do something.
Do you have a favorite rooftop or patio to have a beverage outside?
I feel like there's, I mean, yeah, my current favorite,
Yeah.
and that will be my favorite for a long time, is the View Boston at the
Yep.
top of the Prudential Center.
Yep.
That is a huge favorite right
Yeah.
now. Great for drinks. They have a restaurant there too that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I love it up there. That is such a cool spot. The people that run it are amazing.
Yeah.
The bar staff, the waitresses, the management, they're all awesome up there. And it's just an iconic Boston spot,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that view from of the Hancock Tower from the Peru is like just iconic. And looking down the river, looking into Fenway, watching the sunset up there is so much fun. If you time it right and you go up there like an hour before sunset, and you
Yeah.
grab a drink and it's a nice warm night, it is such a vibe up there.
Yeah.
And like the pricing isn't that bad either. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You have to pay to get up there, but as is anywhere. All right, so basically just a cover. And once you get up there, have a couple drinks, and it doesn't have to be your whole night of drinking, but you know what I mean? Why not start there and then mosey on elsewhere?
Perfect. Yeah, I saw something recently where someone posted a picture of the line outside of Felipe's in
yeah.
Harvard Square.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
And someone was like, "Hey, I'm new here. Like why is this place so hard to get into?" And everyone was like, I saw that comment. I was like, oh, the people are going to be like a dick to this person. And they were not a dick at all, which was really nice. They were like, there's really nothing that great about it. It's just the only place that you can do this thing like within miles.
Yeah.
So people like, and it was like almost to like the line was like, it was like comically long.
Yeah. Like
the
you're
way-
actually going to get in.
Yeah, exactly.
I never understood
There's
that.
like 8 seats up there.
Right. I never understood waiting in line for 20 hours for a place you're not even going to get into.
I think it was probably a lot of students.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but it was someone in super earnest was like thought Felipe's was like the coolest club in
Meanwhile,
Cambridge.
they're just like it's the only place open. Yeah. Well, everything's like that when it first opens, and
Yeah.
whether it's a patio or rooftop, like it's like, all right, we're breathing life into us again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even when like it's like 60 degrees and windy, which is kind of chilly at night,
Yeah.
like people flooding into these places and wearing sweatshirts, and rightfully so. I mean, you can't beat a New England summer. There is nothing like it. So as much as you can squeeze into it, it's just so special.
I agree.
You know.
I agree entirely. Do you have a favorite New England summer weekend destination?
Cape.
Yeah.
Not even close.
I agree.
We're not going north.
Yeah.
No way in hell. I mean, we've been north. We've
Yeah.
done Maine. The Maine coast is really beautiful. Going to the mountains is cool. I tend to reserve that for fall, like a lot of people. But yeah, the Cape, like not even a question about it. So grew up going to Falmouth.
Yeah.
But the Outer Cape is like it's like a different world.
Yeah.
You drive down to P-Town,
Yep.
and it's like you're like it looks like you're on Mars.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
dunes are insane. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I grew up in Falmouth. Falmouth is like the suburbs of the Cape. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have. It's beautiful. It has like cliffs and stuff, but it doesn't have dunes
Yeah.
and massive dunes. And so yeah, it's crazy down there. It's so beautiful. But just sitting like at a restaurant next to the beach, eating fish or whatever you're gonna eat, and like just having a nice drink, and absolute vibe.
All right. Let's get into some of the fun stuff.
I'm scared.
Nothing to be scared of. I will pick the best question to start with.
All right.
And you can take a bite of the arancini.
Yeah, let me grab that.
All right. So this is a question I like to ask people, which is if you could craft your favorite day of eating in and around Boston. So you can leave Boston, right? But it's a breakfast,
Okay.
a lunch, and a dinner.
Okay.
And you can go anywhere in Massachusetts. Time doesn't exist. Traffic doesn't exist, let's say.
Right.
Time exists because you're going to get hungry.
Traffic doesn't need to exist.
Yeah. So let's, so if you have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if you could design your dream Boston/Massachusetts eating day.
So there's a really cool spot in Somerville called Ball Square Cafe.
Yeah.
I love it there.
Yeah.
First time I went was like 10 years ago, and I took a hiatus. I hadn't been back in like 5 or 6 years, and I recently started going again. And I remembered how much I loved it.
Yeah.
And they expanded, so it's like way bigger than it used to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're so good. Pancakes are there.
Pancakes, yeah.
There's a bunch of spots in Ball Square. Sound Bites.
Yep.
And then Kelly's
Kelly's.
Diner.
Yeah,
Kelly's
yeah.
Diner. Super cool. The wait staff in there is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ball Square is a really cool spot.
Yep.
Ball Square Cafe is an amazing spot. They have this Nutella strawberry stuffed French toast. Oh my god, it's so good. That's amazing. And it's like just big heaping portions of
Yeah.
breakfast food, like you get everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a good spot. If you're looking for like something a little different, West End Johnny's, okay? Hear me out. West End Johnny's, you think, I'm going there to get shit-faced when I'm 22 years old, right? They do this Sunday reggae brunch, and like they have this live reggae band that's been doing it for like decades, right? And they put on a pretty good brunch.
Yeah.
Like it's not bad. So if you're looking for brunch in downtown, that's a good spot. If you're looking for something a little different, right? There's a place called the Dubliner,
Yep.
and they have some amazing food there. It's an Irish place,
Yeah.
but I feel like a lot of people think of Ireland, they think of England, they think
Yeah.
of Scotland. It's not always like food's probably not always the top thing that people are thinking about.
Yeah.
But this place, the Dubliner, they do it right.
Yeah.
They're an amazing restaurant group. They own a bunch of different spots in the city, and it's just when you go there, you're gonna get a good quality meal and
Yeah.
a good time and a good vibe, and it's just a great spot.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good spot. For dinner, okay. There's a place in Falmouth, back to the
Yeah.
Cape, called Bucatino.
Yeah.
It's an Italian place, and they're actually like wicked good. It's like North End quality, if not better. And it's just really good. You have to obviously drive down there,
Yeah.
but it's in Falmouth. It's like an hour and a little hour and a half.
It's in Massachusetts.
It's in
which
Massachusetts,
was, which
so
was
it counts.
the prompt.
Yeah, so it counts. So yeah, that's a great spot for dinner. I'm not going to give you just three, obviously.
Yeah.
So if we're going back to the North End, Brico is a great spot. If you're looking to get a little pricier, Brico's nice. They have a great espresso martini there. That company owns a bunch of restaurants in the North End, and they're all top tier. Like they're so good. They're Brico's famous for their espresso martini, and they actually bottle it now. It's called Drink That by Brico. I think it's by Brico, and it's called Drink That Espresso Martini, and you can buy it at liquor stores. It's so good. But obviously you have the Stragas of the world, and there's this other place called Libertine. It's on Salem Street. It's on the other side, so it's not on Hanover like everybody else, but it's on Salem Street, and it's this Portuguese Italian fusion place. Super cool spot. It doesn't have to all be Italian all the time, right?
Yeah.
And they do the best of both worlds. They have like this flaming sausage, and they bring it to your table, and it's on fire. And it's actually so cool, right? It shoots content creators. It does really well on Instagram. So, but no, they're awesome there. That's a good spot. Low key, there's a spot in Dorchester called Harp and Bard.
Okay.
It's like a sports bar. It's not meant to be great food, but for some reason they have good food there.
Yeah.
And I get this it's like my comfort spot,
yeah.
right? They have this marinated grilled chicken, and I'm like a sucker for grilled chicken. Like, if you do a good grilled chicken, I'm going there. It's so good. Like, I don't need anything fancy. Just give me grilled chicken with mashed potatoes and like some coleslaw or something. And they do it so good. I don't know what they do there. I don't even know if they have social media, so they might not see this, but but they do really, really good.
You made me actually thinking of another question, which is, I asked about Rooftop before, but do you have, if you're just going for a drink, so it could be beer, wine, cocktail, you name it, but if you have a favorite bar if you're just going out for one drink?
Is it just one or like six?
It could be six.
Okay.
It could be as many as you want.
Honestly, it feels like Irish pubs are the new thing in Boston now. Well, not the new thing. Not the new thing at all.
What is old is new.
Right.
Again.
It feels like they are like revitalized. And a huge part of that is due to this group with Oren McGonigal. He's the owner. And they own the Dubliner. He owns Carrie Nation. McGonigal's just opened in Dorchester, which has been massively exploding right now, right? And it's just this amazing food group, food beverage company, whatever they're called, right? But they do such a good job, and the Dubliner is such a vibe. That's where I love going for a couple drinks. Like, it's the kind of place where you know everyone in there. It's the same wait staff all the time, same bartenders, the same guy Ginty. He's singing all the time. It's such an absolute vibe. And they own Carrie Nation too, which is around the corner, and it's a speakeasy, and that's such a cool spot too. It's like, so everybody calls themselves speakeasies now, but like this one is actually like in the back of the building, like tucked away. There's pool tables, the lights are super dim back there. It's such a cool spot. And then McGonigal's, they own McGonigal's. I haven't been yet, but it's in Dorchester, and it's just like, that place is like rocking and rolling every single day, and I'm like, I don't know how I haven't been there yet. But so yeah, those kinds of places are more my vibe. You know, a lot of places people like the, what is it called? The Blind Duck up in the up in that building. All these fancy
Raffles
places.
Hotel,
Raffles. Like, I can hang in these places, but like I prefer the fun, like the fun places. You know what I mean? Not that they're not fun, but like the less stuffy places.
I love it.
We all have fun at those places too, but like it's just something, just being there with the same bartenders and the same people all the time, and they do such a good job. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect answer.
And honestly, if you're going to like, just to add to that, if you're going to like a Bruins game
Yeah.
or anything, West End Johnny's, like I said, I went to college in Boston.
Yeah.
That was the go-to going out place. But you know, you can get there before the crazy vibes come and just enjoy yourself. And just a huge bar there, and it's not like a super expensive drinking place either. You know, you have a couple drinks before a game or before dinner in the North End. It's right there. It's such a cool spot too.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Oh, that's the Dubliner. I've heard several people talk about the Dubliner fish and chips.
Oh yeah, they're big on their food. Yeah,
solid.
Yeah,
really solid. All right, excellent answer. Another tricky question potentially.
Okay.
Do you think there's a type of cuisine done in and around Massachusetts that doesn't get the credit it deserves? That we're better at it than anyone sort of gives credit, or the restaurants that do it are maybe below the flying under the radar.
Right. I used to think that fish and chips were a New England thing, and they are, but they're not because they're from England and the UK, right? So I think that can go either way too.
Yeah.
That has something that can be like too greasy or really good. I think this question deserves a fish answer.
Yeah.
Because we're in New England.
I don't disagree.
All right. I think like a baked haddock or something like that. Like, it's one of my favorite light things to get because I'm a big chicken breast guy, but a great alternative is like a whitefish, right?
Yeah.
And that is something that is done really well at most seafood restaurants, right? And just like some crackers on top, like broiled in the oven.
Yeah.
So good with mashed potatoes or coleslaw or whatever. It's such like I get it all year round, but like a nice summertime thing too. If you're on a patio in like Wellfleet or P-Town or Falmouth or wherever, that is such a thing to get.
Yeah.
You know, like the lobster pot in P-Town.
Yeah,
that's a cool spot. But yeah, places like that, I love that. I think we do that really well.
I like that. It's sort of the non-fried, sort of non-overhyped seafood option, right?
Yeah, it's like healthy without having
roll.
to taste healthy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like sort of just that clean meal that's just done right.
All right. You do a lot of, I think you do a really good job of capturing Boston, things to do, activities, events, everything, right? You do a really good job of curating these lists and of stuff for people to do.
Appreciate that.
Do you have a neighborhood in Boston that is just like your favorite to explore, just get lost in, just that is kind of still maybe surprising you after all these years of doing this?
I think I'm going to sound like a sap here, but I feel like I do like every neighborhood for its own, except for the Seaport.
Yeah, that's fair.
Seaport's cool.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it's just sterile.
Yeah.
And I'm not that type. Like that goes to the fancy bar versus the down home bar kind of thing. I love Seaport. It's a cool spot. Great restaurants in the Seaport. Just not really my vibe.
Yeah.
Right. I love the North End because I love that historic. I'm a big history guy. I love the historic feel of the North End. Back Bay, definitely. I don't really get to restaurants in Beacon Hill enough.
Well, it's small, right?
It's small. There's not much.
A ton,
Right. So I feel like I haven't really touched that much. I should. Because there's some cool spots on Charles Street.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are like two of my favorite spots, right? And recently the South End has a lot of spots in the South End.
Yep.
But going back to like Dorchester, I went to UMass Boston, like I said. So I lived in Dorchester for a little while, and I got to explore some of those spots too. And there's so many good spots in Dorchester that, like we said, don't get the name recognition that they deserve. So yeah, that's a huge one, definitely.
Yeah.
So there's so many things to do in Boston, you just have to find them.
Yeah.
But that's where like the TV show comes in, Let's Meet Boston. Like it brings that stuff to the forefront that you wouldn't normally think of.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I love that. So
Yeah.
definitely.
I love it.
I love it. Perfect.
All right, Shawn, and then final question is, I think we've covered a lot here today. You've dropped quite a bit of knowledge. I'd love to just kind of talk, about you and where do you, what's coming up for you? Like, what are you excited about? I know you are staying incredibly busy, and what with your personal career is where do you see this going in 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, whatever it is? Like, love to hear about what's exciting for you and where you're taking it.
I guess I don't have an agenda like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I have a full-time job that keeps me busy, and I enjoy that. In terms of Shawn and Boston stuff, I just kind of take what comes and go with it. It's gonna be such a busy summer. There's so many new things in the city that are coming up. I'm excited for that. my favorite part about this whole thing is just meeting new people,
Yeah.
new connections, helping more people. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Like, it's just who you're gonna meet in the future,
Yeah.
and that's my big thing. Obviously, you know, certain milestones, follower counts, or recognition, or this are all great. You know, doing podcasts, but there's so much more to it. Like
Yeah.
we talked about. Just meeting new people, building those connections, and just helping out small businesses, definitely. So
I love it.
that's where we're at.
Well, hopefully there's a lot of that in 2025 and
Hope so.
beyond, and hopefully you know, please come back anytime.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Love having you. And
Have some new questions for me.
Yeah, well, you answered them all admirably, so there was you weren't stumped, so you did a great job.
Just a couple times.
Yeah. All right,
Awesome.
Shawn, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Bye.